Morning, fellow Hayabusa owners. Wanted to talk with y'all about a couple of things. As you notice, my 2014, I've got it taken apart right now. I've got my tail section apart in preparation of motorcycle cruise control. And I'm probably going to say the name wrong, but it's Rostra. So a lot of guys have been using it for years, both the vacuum and the digital version or electronic servo. The vacuum, of course, would fit in the pod over here. However, the electronic version you have to put inside your trunk trash can mod, and it takes up a lot of room. Unfortunately, I'm unwilling to give up my trunk space because I carry a lot of tools and a lot of equipment back here for roadside repair for my wife and I as we tour the U.S. and several friends that go with us. So I was working on a couple of things, and what I want to show you right now is actually cruise control is already on this bike. I've already installed it. I've got a few fine touches to work with it, but being an ABS model, I was looking around, and the size of the ABS pump is actually not real big, but it's not small either. And Fallen Art, Willie on the forum, had given me measurements previous to the electronic servo. And I kind of measured the ABS pump, which is right here behind the other side of this frame rail, and they're very similar in dimensions. So the other side of the bike has an open area. And I know what you're saying. You're going to say, well, that's up in the engine bay, that's hot, yada, yada, yada. Well, the thing is this particular cruise control was designed as a universal cruise control for automobiles and other vehicles like that. So where would you put this unit generally? It generally goes underneath the hood of a car, and usually underneath the hood of a car, depending on turbo, naturally aspirated, insulation, things like that. Underhood temperatures are anywhere between mid 100s to almost 300 degrees on some vehicles, depending on the ambient outside temperature, the climate they're in, be it Arizona, Australia, New York, wherever you're located at. So I'm not too concerned about the unit actually functioning properly underneath the fuel tank and underneath in the engine bay area. I've taken a couple of scan gun readings when I've gotten home while rolling, and it's in the low 200s. Up over under the area. So what I'm going to do now is I've actually prepped the tank, and it's just sitting on here right now, and I'm going to show you what it looks like rough prep. So I've moved the heat shield blanket around just a little bit, but there is the Rostra unit right there. There's actually already some holes in the frame where I can mount the mounting bracket to hold it stable. A couple of things that I did have to relocate from the factory. One ground wire. As you can see, the cable is not bent real hard. This first 3 inches is pretty stiff. It just rests up here real nice. The fuel line for the tank will not get kinked where it sits either. Pull this out. That will actually sit there. Of course, all this wiring loom is going to get routed out. But, so the ground, let me actually just take the Rostra unit out. I relocated the ground from this side of the breather cover to that side. These cables right here that were over here, I just simply put them on the other side of the airbox breather cover vent line. As you can see in here, we have a couple of, this one's actually pre-threaded and this one is not, but I can put an insert in that. And I'm actually going to route the cable around the airbox. I'm using a larger than normal handlebar on the LSL kit. And the factory pull cable was long enough, but the factory return cable was not long enough. So typically on this install, everybody puts a bracket right here. It comes up or down, and they pull from the backwards. I'm actually going to use the bracket here on the return and have my arm come up, and so it'll be fixed in there, and it'll pull this way just like the pull cable does. I won't have any kinks in the cable because the cable's going to come around the airbox like so. I am going to actually put it under the ram air ducts, and the extra little bit of slack just kind of point down towards the radiator up in the main frame neck area. And that's going to be it. So today and tomorrow I'll be working on wiring everything up and getting it all tapped into the speed sensor. Miguel on the forum Mad Pa has been very helpful in sending me his dip switch settings, which are a copy of Captain's and a few other people. And hopefully we should have some cruise control here in the next couple of days. I know I was not originally for this about a year or so ago, but looking at everybody's install and then making the mistake of riding a motorcycle with cruise control, deciding I do not want to sell my beloved Hayabusa that I've done brake upgrades, exhaust, ECU, performance, touring luggage, side boxes, top boxes, and trunk mod. I really love the bike more than any bike I've owned before. I just figured I'm going to go ahead and install cruise control, and that would be the last thing I really need to do. So enjoy, guys.